this is Jeff Nager with AMD World Championship of Custom Bike Building. Today, we're in Sturgis, South Dakota at the championship, in the championship park. I'm speaking with Stellan, and he's got a stellar bike here. Stellan, what's the name of the bike, and what was the inspiration of building this bike?
The name of the bike is Slugger, and the inspiration came from my previous bike, who also was a BMW engined hub steered bike. But this was, I started the build to be as my a more simple version of it, to use as my rider, but things got a little bit out of hand.
As they often do.
Yes, they always do, but it's still my rider, and I use it a lot before I shipped it here.
Now, you're a previous world champion.
Yes, I am.
Now, did the bike that you won here previously, did it have a hub steering as well?
No, it was an old school bike. It looked like a speedway bike from the 30s.
I really like that Jawa engine kind of look.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, very cool. Well, this is a very cool bike too. It looks like a transformer bike, and it's got a lot of technology on it. And the thing that really stands out is the front end, the hub steering. Take us through that. What we're looking at.
The hub steering is the benefit of the hub steering is do you have the same trial through the entire suspension stroke. It doesn't dive when you brake, so you still have full suspension even how hard you step on the brake.
And the benefit of that is?
The benefit of that is that you can have, when you have the same trail, you don't have to compensate for anything, so you can run a shorter trail. So you can have a short trail with the bike that steers really quick, but it's still extremely stable when you're going fast.
And you're using more of the suspension.
Yes.
So that really allows you to plant the front end.
Yeah, and it allows me to run a softer spring also, because I don't have to compensate for the dive.
Well, it's a very cool looking front end. As we move up to it from there, let's talk about the control system. I noticed that you're running ISRs, and ISR helped you with the brakes, the controls, and the hub steering.
Yeah. First I wanted to use his brakes, so I contacted him and asked him with the previous bike if he could help me to build the hub steering. And he got all wild because he's an old road racer and he remembers the hub steering that Honda had in the 80s. And he had been dreaming about improving it. So we started working together, and we got really close friends. So he helps me with a lot of machine jobs, because I'm more of the kind of guy that works sheet metal, works tubing, builds the frame and stuff like that. I'm not a machinist, so it's great to have a guy like him to work with, or his entire company actually.
Well, you mentioned that this is your daily rider, so you probably put a lot of miles on it. What is it like to ride a bike with hub steering?
The biggest difference that you feel when you ride it on the street is that when the road is bad, it doesn't walk on the road, it's extremely stable, and the fact that it doesn't dive.
I bet that it takes a little while to get used to not diving.
Yeah, for some people it does, but I didn't have any problem with it. But I had a guy from a magazine test riding it, and he did have some problems with the fact that it didn't dive when he was going fast. He was used to it, so.
Well, what I also find fascinating about this bike is the turbo and the way that you've done the plumbing. Talk about what we're looking at here.
It's a turbo, it's a modified turbo from Mitsubishi. It's from a car, so it was a big ugly thing in cast iron. So I put a lot of hours grinding off excess material from it. And
yeah, it looks really smooth now.
Yeah, it's smoother now. And also I have the intercooler sitting inside here where the tank usually sits, because that's the biggest problem, I think, aesthetically with turbocharging a motorcycle. It's hiding away the intercooler, and the intercooler needs a lot of air to do its job.
Yeah, I see that instead of a tank, you've got two big scoops.
Yeah, that's why I have these big scoops. It's to direct the airflow through the intercooler.
How much horsepower are we looking at here?
We're looking at 202 horsepower on the rear wheel. We have an extremely flat power curve, and it makes more than 150 Newton meters of torque from 4,300 and up to 8,300. Peak torque is 210 Newton meters at 5,700. So you don't have to rev it much.
It has a lot of giddy up.
Yeah, it has.
So I'm looking at this frame. I'm wondering if you took a Ducati and cut it up, or did you just start with some tubing?
Yeah, I just started with some tubing. It's building a frame like this is just thinking. You just have to think where all the tubes need to sit to serve the purpose. So it gets extremely rigid if you get it right, and you don't have to use very thick walnut in the tubing when you build a frame like this.
Well, your welds look like art. Very, very nicely done.
Thank you. Yeah, I like to weld.
And it shows.
Thanks.
So I'm looking at the bike. I can't find the gas tank.
Oh, the gas tank is under the seat and under the cuts here in the back, because when you build a bike for handling, you also have to keep an eye on the center of gravity, because you don't want too much weight in the bottom of the bike. My first plan was to put a tank under it.
Like a belly tank?
Yeah, but with the belly tank I would have the center of gravity too low. So then
I didn't know you could go too low.
Yeah, you can with a motorcycle. With a car you can't, but with a motorcycle, because a motorcycle doesn't steer like this. It swings in the middle. Ah. So have it too low is really bad. And fortunately for me, I know people who have been racing and building race bikes for a long time. So when there's stuff that I don't know, they tell me.
You get your Rolodex out and start calling.
Yeah.
Hey, talk about the rear wheel. Is that a standard BMW piece? I just love that it's a single-sided swing arm, and I love the framework that you put together to build the swing arm.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, the wheel is a standard BMW, and I agree with you. It's a really nice wheel. The front wheel is also BMW, but we have modified it for the hub steering. And yeah, I'm also very satisfied with the swing arm in the back. It turned out good and looks nice with the open drive shaft in the middle of it.
Yeah, it really does. I like the way that you've done your plumbing. It's very compact, and like you said, you got all the ugly pieces out and put it in the scoop.
Yeah. It's good to have somewhere to hide it. The problem with building a modern bike for me is to hide all the electronics, because when you have injection you need to have electronics. So that's the hard part, I think.
Well, you've done a fine job with that. Hey, tell us about your company. What you do, what you work on?
My company is a small business. It's only me. I have no employees. And I build custom bikes, I build stuff for custom bikes, and also custom cars, mostly muscle cars. It's only American cars, from the 30s, 20s up to 60s, 70s, but mostly muscle cars. I also make some stainless emblems and stuff for boats. Very nice.
If somebody was looking at the bike, was interested in talking with you about a build, what's your website? What's your telephone number? I should say that you're from Sweden.
Yes, I am. The website is www.seservice.se. And the phone number is +46 70 544 8469.
And there you go. Thanks so much for coming abroad, hitting Sturgis. It's a great looking bike. Good luck in the show.
Thanks a lot. It's a pleasure being here.
Great.
In 7th place, I have a story to tell before we announce the winner. Of course, for those who win affiliate shows late in the season, it's always a rush to get the bikes ready and get the transportation to get to Sturgis. This particular winner won, but A few weeks before, he emailed me to say, I'm really, really sorry, Neil. I'm not going to be able to make it. Some idiot in a van reversed into my bike and he crushed the front end and destroyed the fender. I'm not going to come. 10 days after that, he said, in the last 10 days, I've only had 6 hours sleep, but I fixed it and I'm coming. The only world champion currently in this room from Sweden, Stellan Egeland, SE Service! Stellan, show them the ring. Show them the ring.
Make this in.
7th place in the world for his bike slugger, Stellan Egeland.